Hey guys, how you doing? So today is a bit of a just a fun video, just to see what you guys think. So I'd love to hear your feedback and your opinions on what I'm about to say in this video. So this is my top 10 Pokemon that I think should get a Gigantamax form with some fan artworks. Coming at number 10, it is this. So it's Feraligatr. So it's actually at number 10 because it's not actually a Pokemon that's currently in the game, but this is a fan art. So all these arts are not made by me. Some of them have got little signatures at the bottom, so we're going to see who actually made them. These are just ones I think are really good. So this Feraligatr looks absolutely amazing. You can just tell that he's got these little like jaw thing on him and all that sort of thing. I think if he ever was introduced into the game, that this version of him should actually be the Gigantamax form. And he's definitely a Pokemon that I would like to see in the game, and one that should get a Gigantamax form. Is one of my favourite Pokemon from the second generation. Alright, so this next one, so it is a Pokemon that's in the game. It is, of course, Farlinks. So Farlinks in the game, he's a really like, unique Pokemon because it's actually 4 or 5 of them put together, and then a leader at the front. And it's just really weird looking, but this like form of him that just looks like basically a big mash of like Roman shields they're coming towards you, something you would see in like Lord of the Rings or Gladiator or something like that, or 300, some kind of like movie sort of like tactic. It just looks really good. And you got the one at the top. You just imagine like some kind of attack. You would just see them just open up, and then something like coming out towards them. That would be like kind of how I would think that this would be able to attack its opponents. Again, it's really good. It's got a signature at the bottom. I'm not sure who made it. Whoever made this one, it's absolutely fantastic, and it's coming in at number 9. So number 8. So this is Dusknoir. So this is the final form of Dusclops, and the other one, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but this one is in the game, of course, and I think it's a really good Pokemon just on its own. So you can see here when it's been Gigantamax, it looks like it's gotten bigger, the arms have gotten bigger, the mouth's gotten bigger, his head's changed, it looks like he's got some like ghosts on his shoulders. I just think it looks really good. And you can really like imagine obviously the middle of this one just coming out with all the attacks, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. Anyway, it's coming in at number 7. Yeah, we'll do like that, 7. It is Sylveon. So there's actually no obviously evolutions that have been given to Gigantamax forms. It's something that I think will probably happen. You can't really imagine that like, it was like a full series of sort of like sections of Pokemon. There's always like an evolution of something like that. Apart from Eevee, of course. Eevee has got obviously its Gigantamax form, but none of the evolutions have got a form. And this is Sylveon. So obviously Sylveon is a fairy type, so in this depiction of it, it's been given wings, so I think that would be a really like out of the box thing to happen. Nothing really else has kind of happened on it, which is why it's a little bit lower down in the list. But basically it's been given wings, got like nice glowing eyes, and I just think it looks quite unique. I don't think that would be probably the depiction of what it would be if it actually got one. I don't think they're going to add wings to a Pokemon that didn't have wings. More than likely they would take something away, and rather than give something such a dramatic change. But I think it is a really good looking Pokemon. And the next one, this one's like really like creepy looking. So it's a Pokemon that's getting featured more and more in the game. Like if you play online, you definitely will see Mimikyu coming in as one of the Pokemon that gets used over the top. Really like a good Pokemon to use with its disguise ability. So I think this one will really benefit from getting a Gigantamax form, because it's already getting used so much online. It's such a competitive Pokemon that you can use in so many situations. To give it a Gigantamax form is kind of like a no-brainer. So this look of it just looks absolutely amazing. It's kind of like looking as if the bottom half of it that actually is Mimikyu was like came up and it's been Gigantamax, and its like costume is kind of like stretched and ripped a bit because it's gotten so big and it hasn't been able to stretch as fast as Mimikyu. Because if you do follow the Pokemon anime series, you'll know that the costume's not actually Mimikyu. Mimikyu's actually hiding inside the costume. It has some kind of like agenda with Pikachu, like it wants to be a Pikachu or it hates Pikachu. So I can't remember which one is the right one, but actually Mimikyu is actually underneath. So you sometimes see like eyes sticking out of the front of it. So that's actually the real Pokemon that the costume isn't. So this one being depicted looking like it's been like ripped and stretched because of its Gigantamax form would kind of be correct, because you wouldn't expect the clothes to actually Gigantamax as well as the Pokemon's. Usually it's the Pokemon that gets the power. So I think that's really good. This is Gyarados. So you can see in this one, I think is really good. You can look in the background if you look really close. You've got like planes and boats and stuff. It kind of reminds us of the Trubbish Gigantamax form, and he has like different like vehicles and stuff like in him as well. Obviously you can see that this is kind of like looking as if he was in like the ocean. He's Gigantamax form and he's like came out of the ocean, and then all these boats and planes and stuff have just been sort of knocked out of the way. There was not actually that much change on him, which is, I think, is quite good because I really like the look of Gyarados. I'm not a huge fan of the Mega Form. I think that big massive gill hood thing that it has on the Mega Form isn't. I don't really like that. But this one just got a couple of spikes coming out of it here and there, a couple of extra fins, and then big yellow eyes. I think is like really simple. It's a really like nice looking Pokemon, and you can really imagine this one being in its shiny form as well. If it changes red, I think it would look really, really good, and I can just see this one just coming out, just being like an oversized Gyarados. Because Gyarados, if you think about it, its head compared to the rest of its body isn't really that big. You've got its head, and maybe its body's maybe 2 times bigger than its head. This one's kind of putting it more in proportion for me, and I think it looks a bit better if the head was smaller and the body was longer, which is what this Gigantamax form looks like, and it's why I put it quite high up on the list. Houndoom, so it's a Pokemon that isn't as used much compared to the rest of these, but I think it's a really, really good looking Pokemon. I love like the kind of like concept behind it being like inspired by meant to be like a hellhound, and it's just taking the name off that, and then that's why it's like a fire like sort of dog. I would have like liked to have it when it evolves, if it ever gets like a second stage form, like there's like a mythical creature called Cerberus, that 3-headed dog that guards the underworld. I would love for this to like evolve into like a second stage and have it have 3 heads and have a like representation of like mythological creatures. But for now, it's obviously just stage 1 there. Houndoom in this one, when it evolves, you can see the front of it. It's got a skull on the front of it. Its chest, it's got like a snake's tongue. It's just got all these like sinister, like evilly looking aspects to it. It's like big spiny like tail. I think it's fantastic. The flames around its tail are great because obviously it hasn't got any flames on its tail originally. The horns on it, I just think everything about this one just looks absolutely amazing. Even the little chains coming off the bottom as if he's like escaped from being chained up. It looks really, really good. Yeah, so we've got top 3 now. So in number 3 it is Vespiquen or Vespiquen or whichever way you want to pronounce it. And I think this one would be like a really good Gigantamax Pokemon. Just looking at it, you can see all of the big like hive looking like body where you think all the like Combies are like supposed to be like living, and it just looks like a big massive giant hive with a huge stinger on the end. Like, I can just imagine like the attack just being like all the Combies just like swarming the opponent, and then just getting loads and loads of stingers off all the Combies, and obviously the big sting at the end, and resulting in the Pokemon being either paralysed or poisoned, like something along those lines. It just looks like it's got like so many like abilities and like potential to do like loads of damage to your opponent. Now we got top 2. So this next one's actually a personal favourite of mine, so it is Dragonite. So me personally, I always thought Dragonite's wings were too small for its body. So this one, when I seen this one, I had to put it high up on the list just for my personal reasons. You probably might have it further down, or you might not have it on the list at all. But this is a Dragonite. It is blue, which I think is good as well because the shiny form of it is green, which I'm not a huge fan of that either. But I do like Dragonite as a Pokemon. It was pretty much the only original Pokemon that was a dragon in the first series. Obviously, when the first series came out, there wasn't dragon types. It later was changed from a regular type to a dragon type. But I think it was the only one from the first generation that was changed. But just with the wings getting bigger, and a few more details on the tails, and then just the overall like little changes here and there that I thought Dragonite could have improved on just on its regular form. Then this Gigantamax artwork has been basically them little minor like nicks that I didn't like have been changed, and then it's been given such a unique like look around different parts of it. I think is really, really good. And yeah, I think if Dragonite ever gets a Gigantamax form, definitely make the wings bigger. Definitely give it like bigger claws. Just anything that looks like too cute, too nice. He's got this like what's supposed to be one of the most powerful Pokemon in the world of Pokemon. It just looks a bit too friendly, to be honest. Especially like all the other dragon types just look really, really like sinister and really like they're up for a fight. Like, I think if Dragonite, if you actually see one that just look like this, you would kind of think, oh, it's not really that menacing. But like this one just kind of takes all that away and it makes it look the way that it should really. Now it's my number 1. So this number 1 is kind of like a Pokemon that I wouldn't really normally use, but when I seen this one, I really thought it would be absolutely terrifying, and it is actually Galvantula. So the artist name's at the bottom of the page, but this is like a Galvantula. So obviously it's been given. Now it's got 8 legs. So I think the original one, I might be wrong, it might have 8, but I think the original one had 6. Or I might be thinking of a different Pokemon. But anyways, it just when it looks down, it just looks like a really like scary giant spider. And obviously the way that he's drawn it looks as if it's like hanging from the ceiling. So you can just imagine it just like being there, just like hanging from the stadium roof, coming down, just like all coiled up, waiting for its turn to attack, and then just opening up and then just spraying like webs or electricity or like anything like that it can. I can just imagine it just being all like curled up and then just exploding on you. It just kind of just looks like really terrifying. Like if you came across this and like just hanging from like your ceiling, even if it was like small, I think it would be really scary. Anyways, I'm not a huge fan of spiders. I don't really like spiders, but I think like because of that, that's why I put it at number 1, because I think it's a really like good concept, because there isn't any like big insect like types in the Gigantamax forms. You always like think of things like giant spiders, giant snakes, like stuff that's normally small. I think if it's bigger and of being like scary and has been depicted in films, and it's always been like a really good like selling point for it. When they made the thing of Gigantamax, like giant Pokemon, they didn't put a spider in. You know, when I thought that, I think, right, there's going to be a spider. There's always a giant spider. There's always a giant snake. Obviously, you've got Sanaconda, but it doesn't really count. It's more of a cornetto than it is a snake. But having like a huge Gigantamax spider, I think, would be absolutely like terrifying. It would look really cool, and you can just imagine like all of the special moves that you could have. You could have all the like lightning webs. You could just have all sorts of stuff. There could be so many possibilities of having such really nice looking attacks when you use it. But anyways, guys, that is my like top 10 little rant of what Pokemon I think should be made in Gigantamax forms and why. But I would love to hear your comments if you disagree with anything that I've said, if you want to add any Pokemon in the mix, if you've got a one that you've seen that I've not put on here, anything like that, just leave a comment in the comment section. Please hit that like button as well if you did enjoy this content, and if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye for now.